Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Wahara Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone of Roel. Peace and blessing, salutations to the hopeful elect of Israel. All right, this is going to be a very quick lesson. Okay, I'm just going to go through a few precepts. First, I want to say that GMS, which I'm not personally in GMS, but I follow GMS. GMS is not associated with any black extremist groups, all right, or black militant groups. All right, we do not condone raping women or anything like that. We are just simply telling you how it was in the ancient world and what would be done if that scenario were to come. Because it has happened back then, and it did happen back then. All right, so this law was created to be able to handle that specific scenario. But once again, we do not condone men to rape women. We do not rape women. Okay, this is simply for edification's sake, because it is our job to teach our people how it was in the ancient world and to teach them this whole role. Okay, because you need to swallow the whole role. All right, because you also have to understand that it was all the way in the east. All right, all the way on the other side of the world. All right, on the planet. All right, and it was in the ancient world, man. Okay, things were different back then. People became adults earlier. People were more mature. People were more intelligent. And whether you want to believe that or not, our people is what I'm talking about. Our people specifically. Technology may not have been as advanced as today, but our technology was advanced. The Israelites as a whole were more intelligent back then. Okay, because we knew who we were. We knew the laws. We kept them, and most of our people don't even know who they are. They're calling themselves black or Latino or Hispanic. They're calling themselves Native Americans, Seminole Indians, etc. All right, so this is Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 1. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel. Okay, so it is our job to eat this roll. A roll is a metaphor for the book, all right, the Bible, the scriptures, okay, which back then it was a scroll. All right, so I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. And he said unto me, Son of man, go, get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them. Okay, so that's our job. Yahweh didn't tell Ezekiel to eat half the roll, or 1/4 the roll, 3/4 the roll, 90% of the roll. He said, eat the whole roll. He's got to eat the whole roll, man. All right, just like you do. Okay, we have to, deal with the scriptures. Okay, and a lot of people shy away from these controversial videos because they're worried about what people are going to say about them. Fuck that shit, man. I don't give a fuck. All right, because the truth has to come out. Somebody's got to teach the truth, man. Do you want to get out of here or not? Okay, we have to teach the doctrine, whether it's the mark of the beast, whether it's dealing with this to clear that up, whether it's dealing with confusion of faces or the nuclear destruction coming, or the chariots and clouds and etc. being so-called UFOs. We got to clear these things up and feed the sheep. Okay, get them in their right mind, to get them in that ancient kingdom mindset. Okay, and just to know the ways of the ancient world, how it was. Okay, people say the law, but they don't want to deal with the law. All right, this is what the law says regarding rape, and yes, it is talking about rape, and I can prove that very easily. Okay. So you got to eat the whole roll, man. All right, you got to get the doctrine. You got to understand the scriptures. You got to digest it. And it said right here that he ate the roll and it was sweet. But there's later, I think it's in Revelations. I just heard it not too long ago by, I think Apostle Aramla read it. I think it's in Revelations, if I'm not mistaken, which I could be. Okay, this is Revelation chapter 10, verse 9. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said unto me, Take it and eat it up. And it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. All right, and a lot of our people don't want to handle the sour of the truth. All right, they don't want to handle the fact that we're going to have to go through Jacob's trouble. All right, they don't want to have to handle the fact that they're going to have to deal with the hour of temptation when that microchip is made mandatory. All right, they don't want to deal with the fact that most of our people are going to die. They don't want to deal with these things. They just want to skip and really they want to, they just want to prance their way right to the kingdom. Well, it's not going to be like that, man. We have to go through our hardships. We have to be tried as a gold in the fire, okay? We have to do these things, all right? And Yahweh Shai willing that this lesson is edifying to the elect, all right? But we have to be able to to eat the whole roll, and to deal with the sour and the bitter. If you've ever eaten a sour piece of candy, it's sour on the outside, but it's sweet, once you get past that. And that's the same thing with this truth. You can't just skip the sour, man. You can't. You got to suck the sour off to get to the sweet. You can't just go right to the sweet, all right? You got to deal with both sides, man. Otherwise, you're not dealing with the truth, all right? You're talking about, you're in the truth this, you're in the truth that, but you don't want to deal with the truth. You don't want to deal with the sour side of it. You ain't in the truth then, man. You got to eat the whole roll, all right? And this is part of it, okay? Dealing with how it was in the ancient world and making sure people know that, because a lot of people call the men of the Lord rapists and child molesters because they don't understand the scriptures and they don't understand how it was in the ancient world, okay? Like I said, we became adults a lot younger back then because we were more mature. We were more built up by that point in time, okay? And that is evident through scriptures. That is evident through common sense even altogether. You can do your own research on these things, man. All right? Look up how old Mary was when she gave birth to Yahushua. It's going to tell you the same thing that the apostles tell you, man, because they back everything up with research. And they even tell you that you shouldn't just believe their words. You should research them yourselves, to make sure that they're telling the truth. And they are. I've researched these things for myself. I've looked into the words for myself, okay? So now I'm going to show you. So this is Deuteronomy 22 and 28. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her. He may not put her away all his days. Okay, now this is talking about rape. And a lot of people say, no, it's not, because they're trying to avoid it. They don't want to deal with these with controversial topics like the mark of the beast and this and all this other stuff. But we're going to prove to you, I'm going to prove to you right now through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shad, this is talking about rape. As if you already can't see it, I'm going to prove it even further. All right, because it says right there, by the way, sex is marriage. All right, let me get a quick script on that. I'm just going to get one quick script. There's quite a few scripts on that, but you can watch a video on that because that's not what this video is going to be about. But it says Genesis 24 and 67, and Isaac brought her into, which let me save this as a matter of fact, just in case. And Genesis 24 and 67, and Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. How did he become her wife? Because if you look at other scriptures, it talks about sex, all right? He took her into the tent and he laid down with her and they became one flesh, okay? In fact, let me get one more precept on this. I think there was another precept. Salakia. Trying to find it. I know there's a scripture on it, and they became one flesh. It's talking about sex. But once again, there's a lot of scriptures on it. If you want to look it up, you want to see a whole video on that. Okay. Wait, what did that say, Matthew? Mark 10 and 8. Let me just see what Mark 10 and 8 says. I'll start at verse 6. Mark 10 and 6. But from the beginning of creation, Yahweh made them male and female. All right, which also cuts that transgender nonsense. All right, that multiple genders, there's more than two genders. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. So when they are no more twain, but one flesh. So what therefore Yahweh hath joined together, let no man put asunder. So that's by sex. Okay, and once again, look up a video. Type in GMS sex is marriage or something. There's a lot of videos that brothers have done on that. I'm pretty sure I've done a video in the past. But, once again, that's not what this video is about. So sex is marriage, okay? And Salakia. Okay, and so this is saying if a man finds a damsel that is a virgin, so somebody that isn't married, okay? Somebody, which, virgins are were young. But if a man finds a woman that isn't a virgin, and it says betrothed what that means is engaged or promised to a man. Okay, that's what betrothed means. Okay, meaning they haven't had sex yet. All right, they're not physically married, but she's promised to him, engaged. Okay, which if you sleep with a man, if you sleep with a man's wife, well, since I said that, I didn't finish my sentence, but since you said that, if a man sleeps with a man or a woman with a woman, that's abominable, and they're supposed to be put to death. But if a man sleeps with a man's woman, like his wife, that's adultery, and they're both supposed to be put to death. Okay, if they're, they both consented to it. Okay, well, now here's the thing. It says betrothed. So if a man sleeps with a woman that's betrothed to another man, that's also adultery. It's the same rules, I'm pretty sure. Okay, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Now, what was I going to say? If a woman is married to a man or betrothed, and a man sleeps with her, does this, grabs her and has sex with her, if she doesn't scream out, then they both get stoned. But if she screams out, because she knows she's married and she's screaming out for help, then they're going to put the man to death. Okay, so this situation is the same as that, except you take away the putting to death and you take away the married part. Okay, because she's not betrothed and she's not married, which means anybody can have, any Israelite man can have her, right? Because she's not married. Okay, so since she's not married, any Salakia. Better close these doors. So since she's not married and she's not betrothed, any man can have her. Okay, any man can have sex with her and they can become, husband and wife. Okay, so this is saying if a man grabs a woman that isn't married or betrothed and lays hold on her, which is basically rape, that's rape. Okay, because rape now, when people think about rape now, they think about somebody grabbing you and tearing your clothes off and beating you and then having sex with you and then leaving you in an alley. No, it wasn't the same thing back then. All right. A man would want a woman. He really loved this woman. So sometimes they literally just did it. All right, they just grabbed her and they brought her back to their tent or their house or whatever, had sex with her, and then he'd pay the father 50 shekels and they'd be married, and he wouldn't be allowed to put her away for all his days. Okay. And women were, they loved getting married. Okay, all Israelite, men and women. It wasn't like today. They weren't picky. Things were good. Everybody looked good. Everybody, did good to an extent. Everybody had, things, man. So something like this would happen. It's not like the woman would be, distressed. But this is the thing, okay? So now we're not saying we rape women. Once again, we do not condone men raping women, and we do not rape women ourselves. But this is a scripture in the ancient world that if it happened, because it has and it did. So if a man took a virgin that isn't betrothed, she's not married to anybody, and and he lays down with her, like he grabs her, takes her to a house, and has sex with her, then they're married. Okay, and he has to pay the father because a daughter is a man's property, man. Okay, so he has to reimburse him, so to speak, for his property. Okay, that's just all it is. It's not hard, man. It's not complicated. It's really not, But people stumble on it because, first of all, Yahweh Shema Shai isn't with them, which is why they're emotional and they choke on the meat. Which this isn't even really necessarily meat. They choke on the roll, man. They can't swallow the whole roll. All right. They taste that bitterness and they throw it up. They can't handle the bitter, man. This is bitter. I mean, this is bitter for, well, really, this isn't even bitter. This is bitter for a lot of these emotional people out here. All right, but in general, this isn't bitter. Okay, something bitter would be, Jacob's trouble. That's something bitter. This isn't bitter, but to some people, they make it bitter because they can't handle it. Okay, they can't keep the roll in their stomach, man. They throw it up. You see? So now, let's go into the word. Let's go into lay hold and lie with, and we're going to see what it says. And then we're going to look up the etymology of the word rape, and I'm going to show you that it's the exact same thing. All right, so it says lay hold. The word there for lay hold, it says the word means to catch, handle, lay hold, take hold of, seize, wield. To lay hold of, seize, arrest, catch, to grasp. In order to wield, use skillfully, to be seized, be arrested, be caught, be taken, captured. To catch, grasp. So it's grabbing somebody, taking seize of somebody, right? Now we're going to go to lie with. Can't get around this, man. You got to eat the whole roll, all right? Like I said, this isn't even bitter. It's just a lot of people, they just so emotional. They think it's bitter. This is something that happened in the ancient world, not like all the time, but it's something that could have happened. It's something that some people did. Okay, and this is how you would handle the situation. Just like how Esau has laws if somebody rapes, or somebody murders this and that. It was the same thing. That was our law for rape. Okay, if somebody raped a woman that was not betrothed, was not married, then they become married. Okay, because sex is marriage. Now, the word there for to lie with or lie down. Wait, what is it? So I want to make sure I got it. To lie with, all right, to lie with. It says on her and lie. It says to lie down, lie on, lodge, to lie of sexual relations, to be lain with sexually, so we know it's sexually, because we know sex is marriage. Okay, so this is rape. Okay? But once again, it's not the same type of rape as now, man. Because that man, he loved her and he wanted to have her as a wife. So he took her, instead of doing, because the other way it would take a while. He was just, I don't know, he didn't have patience or something. Okay? He was impatient. He just wanted to have her as a wife. So he took her. She didn't have a problem with that. Now, if she was married or betrothed, she should have a problem with that, which is why they'd scream out, and then somebody would see that, and they'd take the man and they'd stone him. They'd put him to death. All right? People are so emotional, man. So we already proved it's rape, but let's prove even more. Let's go into the etymology of the word rape, and I'm going to show you that it means exactly what those things just said to you. And then we can look at other translations. Got to go to Etymon online and look up the word rape. Look at that. Seize, prey, abduct, take by force. So it means to seize, carry off by force, abduct. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Now, Salaki, I don't know if I can do this in the app or if I have to. Okay. Well, here, let me just. Deuteronomy 22 and 28. Oh, what did that say? Hold up, what did that say? They got the verses? See, a lot of Christians don't understand the Bible at all, but even a lot of people in Israel don't understand the Bible. What does that say right there? If a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and rapes her. Here, I want to go to different translations. I forgot which site I can do to go on. Salakia. Because I want to see different versions of it, like lined up together. I don't know how I can do that. Goodness, man. There we go. The Wadi Hawaii Shai. So KJV, if a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found. If a man finds a young woman who is a virgin who is not betrothed, and he seizes her and lies with her, suppose a man has intercourse with a young woman who is a virgin but is not engaged to be married. If a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and rapes her, if a man meets a virgin who is not betrothed and seizes her and lies with her, once again, what does rape mean? It means seize, all right? which the word rape does not mean what they think it means now, okay? Once again, people think now it means that some man comes down the alleyway, rips this woman's clothes off, rapes her and beats her, and then just leaves her there to die or whatever. No, rape back then, seizing her, would be taking her back to your tent or your house and laying with her, okay? If a man encounters a young woman, a virgin who is not engaged, takes hold of her and rapes her, well, that's in Spanish. If a man finds a girl who is a virgin who is not engaged and seizes her and lies with her, suppose a man comes across a virgin who is not engaged and overpowers and rapes her, and even in the 29th verse it says humbled her. All right, and that's talking about sexually. All right, so you can see that all these are talking about rape. Okay, it literally says rape in some verses, some translations. Okay, so that's all that needs to be said, man. Okay, that's all that needs to be said. So once again, we don't condone rape. All right, we don't rape women. We're not telling you to rape women. We don't tell anybody to rape women. Okay, there's no raping of women going on. We're just simply telling you this was a law. This is how you'd handle it in the old, in the old days, in the ancient world. All right, that's how you would handle it. That's all it's talking about. People get so emotional, bent out of shape. That's all it's talking about. All right, if a man took a woman that wasn't engaged, she wasn't married, and he raped her, he seized her and had sex with her, then they'd be married. He'd have to pay the father 50 shekels of silver. It's not hard, okay? It's not hard. It really isn't. Okay, so Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect and clears up these lies that these people keep spreading about the men of Yahweh Shemel Shai, calling them rapists and child molesters and all this. We're neither of those things. People lack understanding, and in fact, they're breaking the law by doing that because they're bearing false witness. We're not raping women. Okay? And we don't condone of that. We are simply telling you that this happened in the ancient world and this is the law to handle it when it did happen. Period. You can't handle it, then that's your own goddamn problem. Okay? But don't start slandering us because you can't swallow the roll. Alright? So with that said, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Kakwadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone to rule well. Peace and blessing salutation to the hopeful elect of Israel. Don't be emotional, man. Alright? Leave your emotions at the door when you come to the truth. Shalom.